David, Mike, Chris, and Carrie. The Von Erich tragedies sure are scary, but it isn't limited to the family. For Gino Hernandez and Bruiser Brody, cocaine OD and stabbed in a shower. Bruiser felt like he was there for some hours. But back to the Von Erichs, you see, there's one left of the original tree. Order of the Lonely Von Erichs. It's the Order of the Lonely Von Erichs. It's the Order of the Only Von Erichs. Kevin is the only one that's left. Do 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 do. Order of the Lonely Von Erichs. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Arlington, Texas. Welcome back to Texas, Kevin Von Erich. The Iron Claw is coming out in just a week. I can't wait to see that. And oh my God, I'm a fucking dick. I'm such a fucking dick. What the hell is wrong with me? Answer what the hell is wrong with me in the comments, please. And assuming that anybody's still watching after that terrible musical intro, let's talk about this show. Okay, it's great that Kevin Von Erich and his sons, Ross and Marshall, are in Texas. Apparently they moved back to Texas. I imagine that was probably pretty tough after they were in Hawaii for quite a while. But hey, Ross and Marshall are getting some opportunities, and that's great for them. And you know what? Kevin seemed pretty emotional. I'll get to that in a bit. But they were at the College Park Center in Arlington, Texas, that according to people that live in Texas, because I know nothing about Texas outside of a few cities and the rich history when it comes to professional wrestling, they had about 3,400 people there. Maybe. Based on the pictures, some of the upper decks didn't even have people. They need to market this shit better, because Kevin Von Erich coming back and being in the building only half full, it's honestly like 1987 never left. But Mike left in 1987. Oh yeah. I've got jokes. Because it's the only way I can get through stuff like this. I can't wait for the Iron Claw. I can't wait to see if it's going to piss me off or make me, I guess, emotional. And then piss me off because of the inaccuracies. Or maybe no inaccuracies. Who knows? So, yeah, they were about half full there. And not even you. That's a 7K building. They couldn't even fill that. And Texas has a rich history of professional wrestling. Going back decades and fucking decades. Anyway, Samoa Joe comes out to a big old pop. He is so good at trying to make this work. He's just great on promos. I don't think he can make this Black Devil Scorpion stuff work. This is the Black Scorpion stuff. There is no way they can have a proper payoff. If it's Jack Perry, it's going to be terrible. If, God forbid, if it's Tony Khan, he tries to pull a Vince McMahon higher power stuff, that might just be him saying, that's it. I've given up. I've goddamn given up. I don't want to do this shit anymore. But anyway, the lingering scent of Stetson, it's easy for you if anybody gets that reference. God, you are as old as I am, which is almost older than dirt at this point. Stetson and disappointment. So, talks about, the beer bottle broken over MJF's head. Alludes to Hangman. Hangman comes out. He says he doesn't care about this devil stuff. For once, I agree with Hangman. I really don't want to care about this stuff because it's stupid. Because no explanation can actually work. MJF in the double mask and that kind of stuff was a pretty good idea. But nevertheless, Roddy shows up, Samoa! And the reason Roddy and the Kingdom are out there is because it is Roddy Strong against Hangman Adam Page. If Marina Shafir was in the S&M, he'd call her Madam! And now you will never unsee it. You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. If I have to think of this stuff, then so do all of you people. What do you mean, you people? So, yeah, Roddy says that MJF is the devil, and then Hangman and Roddy had a match. So, I'm going to say right now, as far as going into the match and doing a promo in the beginning and trying to build up some stuff, okay, Joe tried to make the most sense of this. Roddy did what he could. Hangman, this was, I guess it was an okay promo from him. Both can work. Aubrey is a very good referee. The backbreaker on the top rope, in the corner, that's pretty goddamn brutal, but Roddy's good enough to do that, make it look impactful while being safe. And they had a lot of distractions, like Mike Bennett and Matt Taven as workers and everything. I think that they did the best they could. And commentary talks about tickets being on sale and making great stocking stuffers. You're going to have to do a lot of 2-for-1 specials based on the crowd here. I really want AEW to succeed, and I want them to have a great increase in their rights fees and be profitable. Whatever rumors and innuendos or innuendos are actually true, I want this company to succeed, but they are not drawing big crowds to a lot of places. They didn't even draw big crowds for WrestleDream and Collision in a market that they haven't poisoned yet, or just oversaturated. Anyway, that being said, at one point Hangman bites Roddy. It is bite strong, not neck strong. And they did moves after a while. They had some good near falls to get the crowd popping. We got some distractions. We got a couple moonsaults, and then including a moonsault, where Hangman never looks and just, does the moonsault. But you know what? It is what it is. He can do it well. Buckshot lariat. That's just a 2, and then eventually he gets a Deadeye 1, 2, 3, because he actually ends up, he ends up trying for the buckshot, I should have said, gets a roll-up, and then hits a Deadeye, because there's a lot of shit going on there. And then we go to Brody King versus Andrade El Olio, Blue League. Referee Rick Knox, so you know it's going to be bullshit, because Rick Knox is a terrible referee. I'm convinced Andrade is just waiting out his contract at this point to go to either WWE or just work in CMLL. At this point, I think Andrade just wants to leave, and I don't really blame him. If not, if he stays there for a while, signs a new contract, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me, as long as he's happy. So Final Battle, by the way, is this Friday, and Collision is this Saturday. They're at the Curtis Caldwell Center. I believe that's what it is, and they haven't done well for Final Battle. I don't know what they've done for Collision, but Final Battle, I'm glad Tony has the Ring of Honor footage, and I know that it's got to be hard to run both promotions while negotiating right fees and all this stuff while being coked out of his goddamn mind, allegedly, but it is getting to the point with Ring of Honor where they're not sustainable. They need to find who needs to fund it. He needs to have somebody book it properly and integrate occasional people in if you want to build stuff, and if he can get a TV deal, if maybe the next TV rights deal, just want to say this really quickly, if they can take Rampage away, just take Rampage off, replace it with an hour of Ring of Honor instead of just having it on Honor Club, that's fine. Do that. That would actually be better. You would at least get it. Yeah, it might have to be taped, but at least it would feel fresh. It would feel different. It would be justified in, existing. Nevertheless, and then you can, and if you want to, you can tape another hour of Ring of Honor after Collision, and you can tape 2 shows, and then you can show one, and you can just do it you just could do something that actually would benefit the goddamn brand. Because if they're spending reportedly $85 million a year on talent, and I don't know if it's a year or if that's a cumulative. I really hope it's not a year. That's just insane. Anyway, moonsault outside by Andrade. That's the second straight match we've had that. There was a big old power slam to a pop. The split leg moonsault for 2. Big lariat for 2. And there were strikes aplenty. And then Andrade drops Brody's head on the exposed part of the turnbuckle. This does not look like turnbuckle. And hits hammerlock DDT 1, 2, 3. Andrade, gets points. I didn't really pay attention to who was leading in the thing. I don't really care. I really don't care. At this point, we're just getting athletic matches. Kevin Von Erich is there with Ross and Marshall. Renee was there, interviewing them. And you know what? I'm certain this meant a lot to Kevin, given the memories, both good, bad, and unfortunately indifferent, but mainly good and bad. And the fans still remember him. He's 66. I think the saddest thing that Kevin ever said was in an interview, I used to have 5 brothers and now I'm not even a brother. But I have so many friends here. I love AEW. I'm not saying that Kevin has never watched AEW, but I have a very hard time believing that he's paid that much attention to it. I could be totally wrong. And Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, and Trent show up. Trent was hitting the double bicep pose. Go back to posting right-wing crackpot stuff, you idiot. Anyway, they're going to have a 6-man on Rampage. So it's nice that they gave Ross and Marshall some matches I could care about before putting him with who I consider a joke. There are people that like Orange Cassidy, and that's fine. I don't. You can. I know that David, Mike, Doris, Chris, Carrie, and Fritz need to rise from their graves and drag every single one of these terrible gimmicks in this company into the goddamn earth. So, Kenny and Jericho show up. split entrances. Kenny before the break, Jericho after the break. I forgot they won at Full Gear, and after this segment, I want to forget about both these teams, and I like, at least one of these guys. Starks and Bog Bill showed up. Jericho got an elbow injury. I totally forgot they attacked him there and did that. Get your sorry asses out of here. I'm not making fun of my Canadian friends, but god damn it, Jericho. They called out Starks and Bog. It's Bog because of the shoe print. I'm not going to get into a long analysis of this whole thing, but this was terrible. This died more than the Fritz Von Erich heart attack, attempt storyline. They couldn't shoulder this like Mike couldn't shoulder that thing in Tel Aviv. They couldn't even gut this out like David Von Erich in Japan. Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of this stuff. This segment wrecked just like Kerry Von Erich on the motorcycle. Okay, I'm done. I'm really done here. This fellow's authentic as Lance Von Erich. Poor Kevin Vaughn. That's Vaughn. So anyway, Kenny says, can you really trust Jericho? No, we don't trust him. And then they did some of the lamest insults. They referenced Enzo 3 times. Let me tell you right now, they bring in that goddamn joke. They might as well just say, we don't care about having our own identity. We're going to bring in this idiot that could never wrestle, that could never do anything. And regardless of what did or didn't happen to necessitate his exit from WWE, he was going to go at some point, and he's just made an idiot of himself. Can't rap, can't do anything, can't wrestle. He can talk a line of bullshit, and that's about it. Yeah, soft, it's like, well, you were in the firm, Bill, but it's more like it was just flaccid. Penis jokes. Starks beat Jericho in Dynamite in January. I was there, and then they dragged that feud on to the point that it took Ricky having to work with Punk until Punk did what he did with Jack Perry. Hopefully knocking some sense into him. Highly unlikely. And Starks is probably weighing out his contract at this point because good God. I was at that Dynamite and it was a lot of fun. The absolute drizzle and shits or whatever, they edited a lot of this stuff. Rick and the Dick, my God, this is abysmal. Oh, Big Billy Starks and Jericho didn't get a reaction. And Starks told him he didn't get a reaction. And Jericho did again. Necessitating just more discussion among people. Can we finally just admit, can everybody, even diehard Jericho defenders, admit he has been a detriment to this program for a couple years? It has been really, really bad. He can't go anymore in the ring. He can barely talk. He sounds like a drunk. He looks like shit. He looks like if Dan Spivey tried to be a rocker. Dan Spivey now, that is. So anyway, 3 references to Enzo. Basically, they're going to have a pay-per-view tag team title match at World's End. I'm going to say right now, I don't know if I'm going to watch World's End or not, but I will tell you this. Before I dive into the rest of the review, this is going to be the last Dynamite review that I do for the year. I'm taking a break. I'm going to, keep up on a couple things, but I need a break. I basically need a break. And honest to God, Dynamite has been testing my patience, and shit like this is a reason. Now, some of the action hasn't been all that bad, but nevertheless. This died a quicker death than Gino Hernandez, who wasn't found in his apartment for days and days and days. Or until days and days later. So anyway, bid you adieu and all that. Then we get recaps of Copeland and Christian Cage. And Shayna Wayne hitting Copeland in the head. I wonder where they're going to go with that. I like Shayna. I like Shayna. I like Nick. They're very nice people. And Shayna is a strong and determined woman. And Nick is a very, very talented young man. And I hope that he succeeds. Tony Storm's here to join commentary. They had the commentary in black and white, while Mariah May certainly stood there. Yay. Ruby Riho. It's Ruby Soho versus the Fluffer. She's back. Boy, that's exactly what I goddamn need to get invested in this women's division. And I like a lot of the women. And I wish that maybe they would cut some of the men's matches down a little bit and put a second women's match here. If this is the best they have for the women's division, just fund a proper women's promotion, Tony, and just shelve. any women's segments on here because, my God, not even Toni Storm on commentary can make me put up with Riho. There are people that like her, great. Riho won in 10 minutes. That's all I got to goddamn say about that. She's the size of a freaking pipe cleaner. She looks like she hurts as much as a goddamn pipe cleaner. I'd rather ingest a pipe cleaner than watch Riho wrestle. Wardlow cuts a little pre-tape promo in a package. Path of Pure Mayhem, he wants to destroy MJF. Speaking of destroying, this next match destroyed my interest in the show, along with the next match, Lethal versus Rush in a Gold League match. The thing is when you have G1 style round-robin tournament stuff, you get matches you don't care about. And while Rush is athletic, and Lethal certainly is athletic, I have no reason to care about either of these guys. Rush won with a choke. Okay, there you are. And Karen, because Team TNA, none of the seconds can be there at ringside, the seconds came back down after Lethal lost, and Karen needs to be sent home. Go home, go away. Tony needs to shore things up, cut some millions off of the goddamn roster. I'm not saying people deserve to lose their jobs, but just, he's got to move people on. They got to find something else to do. They're spending too much on people that don't mean anything. Swerve and Mox package, and then we get Jay White versus Mark Briscoe. And oh look, Jay White won in a number of minutes in a match that further cements that Mark Briscoe doesn't mean anything to this particular brand. Not that I expected him to go all the way in this tournament, but Jesus. And Jay White, you could beat me over the head all you want, AEW, that this guy's really good, this guy's really good. It's not that he's a bad wrestler. I don't give a shit. I ain't give a shit in New Japan. I ain't gonna give a shit now. Nothing that Jay White does will draw me in. Iron Claw clips. The movie hopefully isn't DOA. So anyway, Ring of Honor Final Battle Hype. Apparently they're doing a 6-man. It's going to be FTR and Mark Briscoe. I hope I said Mark Briscoe and not Jay Briscoe, because I'm always so afraid of saying it. So, God damn it, I hope I said Mark Briscoe. But they're facing people. I think they're facing The Righteous and Lance Archer. I think. I'm not watching Final Battle, by the way. I hope people do. I hope they enjoy it. But I'm not spending $40. And no, I'm not using an illegal link. So I'm not going to watch a pay-per-view with my own money. And I'm not asking for money. I never ask for money. I don't want to spend the money that I have. Mox and Swerve took on each other in a Gold League match. The crowd was very into this. They were doing some nice stuff. Mox can work when he wants to, and when he's not doing the deathmatch stuff. And it's a good thing they had a 5-minute overrun that went 6 to 7 minutes. Good job there managing your time. Can't even manage the overrun. Just do a 10-minute overrun. Just do that, and then go 15 minutes, and then wonder. My DVR records an hour later. That's the nice thing about that. But there are so many people that don't get a chance to see this shit afterwards. So anyway, they get some nice back and forth. Mox ends up taking a stomp, gets a 2. And he gets a roll-up eventually on Swerve. And even though Swerve's shoulder was up, 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, Swerve loses. Okay, Mox remains perfect. And then we cut to the parking lot where the Devil's goons are attacking Hangman. And then the Devil steps out, nods, and then they slam Hangman onto the goddamn guardrail. Or the guardrail. The windshield. It would have been nice, actually, if they put a guardrail in the goddamn windshield. That would have actually been kind of funny. Who's the Devil? I'd like to know. I know who the Devil is. Whoever the fuck decided to book this show the way they did. It was better in parts than some episodes of Dynamite, but that talking segment between Starks and Bog and Jericho and Omega was not very good. Started out lively, like, Von Erichs and Freebirds in 1982, late 82, early 83. So it might as well have been 83 because it started at the end of 82. And then it ended up basically like watching the terror, the triple dome of terror. If anybody remembers that, I love you guys. So yeah, Iron Claw review in about a week. Are you looking forward to that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Wentland. I'll see you soon.